welcome back to another episode of the TO Show. We are back in action here this week with another awesome guest here with you guys. We're just kind of running through the UAlbany football team, but I think there's a lot of cool guys who've been on this team that have some awesome stories to tell. And, my boy CP is going to give a kind of fun rundown of, his unique story and all that good stuff. But guys, before we dive into things, guys, if you guys like the content and like all the stuff that we're doing and bringing new guests on, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. A little bit goes a long way, but let's dive into things. We want to hear about this awesome new guest that we have with us. We have UAlbany football wide receiver, Chris Potts, or CP, man of many traits. What's going on, CP?
Man, not much. Just chilling in the middle of a good week of hard work, getting ready for the fall.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So you guys reported, this will come out the week before. You guys reported last week around the 22nd-ish of June.
Yes, sir.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So you are CP with a lot of, new guys coming in, new transfer receivers, but there's been also some kind of receivers leave as well. What is kind of the expectation for you personally yourself coming into the season?
I want to touch the field and I want to be a playmaker for this new team that we have, because we have new coaches and a lot's changed. The culture is changing a little bit. And I just want to be a weapon for the offense, and because we need to put up more points this season.
100%. And we kind of saw that, you've been, not a lot of people know that you've been kind of dealing with a lot of injury bugs and kind of just, as you say, thugging it out, just playing through stuff. It's awesome. The mental fortitude and kind of being able to play through some of those injuries. We kind of saw a little bit in the springtime of a couple plays of what you're able to bring. You said you want to be a playmaker and do that. But from a leadership side, you're the oldest, if not one of the oldest guys in the room. What kind of leadership role have you kind of brought into as you got a lot of younger receivers and transfers coming in?
I'll try to just be there for them and give advice. When it's something I can relate to, or something that I've been through. Like, I might not be the best, or might not have made as many plays as the next guy, but it's situations that I've been through, and I feel like being there for the younger guys, because we do have a young core, and some situations they haven't yet been able to experience, and I have. So I just try to be there for them.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. You talked a little bit about kind of like the coaching staff, and you even talked a little bit of a culture change. Even though Coach Gattuso is still there, what kind of little things, maybe the viewers don't know, or maybe some big things, whether it's new coaches or new mentality of how that kind of culture has kind of changed?
Well, with the new offensive coordinator, I feel like it's like more of a swag to what's going on now. It's like, what I'm saying? He has a huge personality. He lets us be us. We get to just, have fun while we out there. And as far as the culture, it's just like we more together. I've been here for a couple years now, and the culture has been good, but this season, it just feel like we more together. I feel like what happened last season, touched the team in a way where it's like, okay, we need to correct all the things that we were negative in.
Mm-hmm. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. You think it's a new kind of fresh start of kind of like a different positive or different vibe kind of mentality that has kind of rejuvenated the team, just because, there has been a lot of older guys who've been there for a while, but a lot of them actually have left. Is that kind of having the younger new players kind of rejuvenated the team a little bit?
Yes, I feel like that's exactly what's happened. A bunch of new guys and young guys. Like, it's just like with all the older guys leaving, do feel like it's a new team.
Awesome stuff. Well, we're excited to follow you guys along this season. But let's dive into UCP. Let's just talk a little bit about kind of your path to UAlbany. We've had a lot of different guys come in, whether Juco transfers or kind of that are passive, kind of, cross pass. over these last 4 years. What is kind of, your path to UAlbany?
Man, so just starting in high school, for the fans and the people that I'm from Oklahoma and Oklahoma City. And in high school, I was one of the state's best receivers, big time. Around my senior year, I had collected a few big offers. I had Oklahoma State on the table. I was getting ready to have Mizzou, and I tore my patella tendon day before my senior night game. And I tore it in such a weird way, like it's a sheath in your knee that's supposed to tear through in half when you tear your patella tendon, but mine didn't tear, and it tore off the shin bone and not the kneecap. So the doctors was like, they had never seen that type of tear before, and they wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to play football. So that led me to NEO A&M Junior College in Miami, Oklahoma, and I had the red shirt my first year because my knee just wasn't ready. It would be days where I couldn't bend my knee.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be just hard days like that. So I really had to dive hard into therapy, and then start doing the little things like recovery, like icing more than once a day, and just taking care of myself, man. And I had picked up some weight during that time, and I had got kind of big. And I had to go on a diet. I had to just do everything in my power to shake back. And by my redshirt freshman year, I had to split reps. So basically, every other possession I was in the game. I ended up leading the team with touchdowns. I collected a few D2 offers that season, but I knew like I had always dreamed of going D1. Like, and where I'm from, there's like very little hope, and a lot of people don't get a chance to make it out and go D1. So it was a real big thing for me and my family. So I went back. I had to train really hard this summer 2019. I went back to my Juco and played my last season there. And doing that, I had led our conference in touchdowns. Our conference held some big name receivers that went to some big schools. And then I was blessed. I got the call from Albany. I had a couple other scholarships on the table, but I took my visit to Albany, and I love what it had to offer, and Albany was coming off the 2019 season, so it looked real good. Put Juwan Green in the league, Jaren in the league, and the DN, I forget his name sometimes, but
Eli.
Yeah, Eli in the league. So yeah, it just I was like, yeah, I feel like this is the place for me. And then my visit was during the finals week, so a lot of people wasn't up here. But then when I got here, when I enrolled, I like it was so easy to like connect with the team,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody cool. It wasn't nobody that was too good for the next person on the team. So that's what I really loved about the locker room. Guys made me feel like home. So, and knowing I was far away. Yeah, and so being at Albany, man, yeah, I've been here for 1.5 seasons, the little spring COVID season, last fall. Haven't got to play as much as I would have liked. I have had some injuries, had a stress fracture that spring, but I did get to play in 2 games, and I scored 2 touchdowns. That was pretty cool. I'm just living out my dream, but I do want more. I want more. I want a lot more.
Awesome stuff. After you tore that patella tendon, did those schools kind of lose interest or kind of pull offers after that, or was it just a decision that I'm not ready to go to that level yet, or that the reason why you picked to go JUCO?
Yeah, man. See, the recruiting, man, the recruiting world so cutthroat.
Yeah.
I told Coach what happened. He never replied. Never talked to me again. Found out through Twitter from somebody else that from another coach that my offer was off the table. I even had some FCSs, had a lot of those at the time. I had Jackson State, Missouri State, a bunch of schools like in the Midwest and the South. And every single one of them, I actually had Missouri State. This is one reason why I was like, they was recruiting me coming out of JUCO, and I just felt some type of way towards them because they actually came to visit me at my school we talked for about 30 minutes. He was asking me, did I like the campus? Did I like the team? At the end of the conversation, the very end of the conversation, tell me he was taking my scholarship.
Jeez, that's tough. So the recruiting process for you was, very frustrating, I guess, especially after you had an injury like that, where you didn't really have anybody believe in you. What was it like, going that Juco route? We had Scott on and we kind of talked to him about, just talk a little bit about your Juco experience. And we were talking about kind of like Last Chance U and how it was kind of how realistic was it to, people aren't familiar with a lot of Jucos, but people, love to watch that Last Chance U on Netflix. What was it like? What was, Juco like for you? Because we had one of my good buddies, Nick Burns, go to NEO as well. And so I have his perspective, but I'd love to hear, from the viewers what your perspective on Juco is.
Going Juco and going to NEO is one of the best things that ever happened to my life. It was one of the most humbling experience. Most Jucos, I can't say all, but most of them be located in the middle of nowhere in whatever state they're in. So the way it was for us, it was like we in the middle of nowhere, and our dorm was set up where it was nothing but football players, 3/4 of football players, one way in, one way out. So I connected and made like lifelong bonds with a bunch of guys. Been there 2.5 years. I seen probably about over 300 guys come in and out. And like over half of that, like I can honestly call my brother to this day. And that was just special to me because we were actually top 5 in the nation on the football part of it. But what I felt like made us like connect, like all of us, like no matter who you were, what position you played, we were all in there struggling together. The calf was bad. So, you know what I'm saying? We sharing noodles.
Yeah.
We sharing this. We let me borrow your 2K real quick, or let me, you know what I'm saying? So we were all there for each other. So that was real special to me. And then on the football part of it, like comparing it to Last Chance U is real, but it's extra on it. I can say the way we live, like the living that you seen on Last Chance U,
that's real.
The independence in the East Mississippi, that was like how we was living. Like it was real raw, and it was a lot of problems. The water will be brown more times than not. It's just a bunch of bad stuff going on. You got squirrels in the roof. Yeah. You got, what I'm saying, mice, all type of stuff just going on, and so the living part was raw. The crazy conditioning, yes, because there's no limits in Juco to how much running and all that you can do. So yes, we did. We went through a lot, One thing I remember is called "Don't Drop the Bar." It was this exercise that will like burn your forearms to where like you couldn't even squeeze a water bottle after you was done. And if one person dropped the bar, you have to start the whole thing over. And it consists of about 5 different exercises and 10 reps each on the coach's whistle.
That's right.
It was kind of like torture, man. So yeah, so Last Chance U, it gave you a good inside look, but it was extra done for the cameras.
Yeah.
On that show. So yeah.
Almost like the coaches almost like exaggerated things to an extent, almost like to make it a movie a little bit, having that movie theater atmosphere of it with that extra. But what I find it was really cool about Juco is, whether you make it out or not, like the brotherhood, and you talk about the struggle, how you're all going through the same thing, but you guys all are, together, and it's a brotherhood that you guys can reach out and, you have each other for life. And I find that bond really cool. Just because it is like that on a football team. Like you do have those good relationships, but you don't have necessarily the struggle at the same extent that, the Juco players are going through. And that's what I find really cool about, you know, talking to different JUCO players of whether, like I said, whether they made it out or not, of the kind of the bond and the brotherhood. But CP, you kind of hit on it a little bit. But what were, you know, you talked a little bit about, excuse me, the success from, you know, 2019 of the UAlbany team. Was there anything else in that kind of made you, you know, want to commit and go to UAlbany, you know, just because of how far it was away from home? And what other kind of, during your recruiting process, what kind of other schools were you looking at?
I took 2 visits, Albany and Indiana State. I liked Indiana State. I like what they had to offer. It was just in the middle of nowhere. And I couldn't do that again, leaving my JUCO that was in the middle of nowhere. So, and another thing what made me commit to Albany is I felt the need that I need to be far away from home to really be able to focus. And it's a lot that goes on at home where there's it's a lot of killings going on. And, you know, just being where I'm from, you know, I can just be in the wrong place at the wrong time and something bad could happen. So I like being away from home. I actually don't ever plan on moving back to Oklahoma City when I'm done here in Albany.
Awesome stuff. What you said you kind of had Indiana State. Was there any other schools that you were even remotely even pursuing or anything like that? The FCS schools?
Not really, man. There was a lot of talk, no offering going on. And the way that JUCO stuff set up, man, it's just like, man, if you get one and you don't have 5 by the end of that week, commit.
Yeah. What was like the recruiting process in the JUCO? We talked to Scott a little bit about it, of how having success, of being able to get kind of eyes on your team from different schools. What was the recruiting process from you? And talk a little bit about how different it was to high school than it was when you were at JUCO.
Uh, okay, so it was the difference between when I was in high school and JUCO is that in high school I had no connections. I didn't have nobody in my corner. I was just a kid doing what I've been doing my whole life, being athletic, playing ball. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know to go to this camp and just get my name out there. I didn't know stuff like this. So everything I had came off like, you know, coaches checking stats and huddle.
Yeah.
You know, so the JUCO was a little different because being we was a top 5 program when the years I was there, my redshirt year, you know, I got to see like we had 2 guys off that team go to the NFL after doing 1 year at their next schools. And they brought so many coaches. It just showed you that like you could honestly get offered on the spot, like at a practice, like just make a play while a coach is there and they will offer you. And you don't care about a stat. If you do something exciting while they're there, they'll offer you. And so my we got a new coaches after my redshirt year, and that changed a lot for NEO. We went from a lot of guys getting out to not so many. And then it didn't help that my last year there, we didn't have a good season. We actually was under 500. And it was just a bad case going on at NEO that year. So that made the recruitment that much harder because, you know, if you're not winning, nobody gonna even pay attention to you.
Yeah.
And
How much of like, and for the viewers who aren't aware, kind of like the recruiting process, whether it's in high school or JUCO, how much do you think it is based off of like, how much do you think of it as connections or creating relationships, but also, you know, winning or having, you know, coaches, you know, having those relationships or being able to make those calls for you?
I think winning ties in a lot with it because, you know, I feel like my personal experiences and just my opinion on this is that if you have team success, then everybody get their own personal success.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how I feel about that. And that's really what I think go on, and then a good 30-40% of it is relationships and connections. Like, I know guys who dad know this coach and they got offered, can't play a lick of ball, but they dad know this coach and he got offered. I've been in this game. I'm going into my 6th fall, so I got to see a lot of that. And being at Juco, you get a lot of bounce backs.
Yeah.
A lot of guys come from these big fancy schools and can't play a lick of ball. And that just goes to show you that whoever they had networking for them was real good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it was just based off of, height or weight, or maybe a 40 time that you ran or something like that at a camp or whatever it is. It's so crazy how that can happen. But CP, let's dive in a little bit about kind of that transition from, NEO to UAlbany. What was, it kind of probably hit you hard because you probably transferred at one of the worst times of, you come and you start training or whatever, a mid-year transfer, and then freaking COVID hits and everything gets shut down. Just talk a little bit about, kind of at least a little bit about your transition, from Juco right away where things were kind of normal, and then talk a little bit about your kind of transition, through COVID as well.
Man, in 2019, leaving Juco, I was on the road, man. I felt like I was playing football at the highest level I've played yet this far. Feel like I can take to the next level. But man, when I got here, man, everything was going perfect other than the cold. The cold was killing me. I couldn't leave my room, man. It was workout, class maybe. If it was too cold, I wasn't making class, man. I was in my room in that heat, in the bed, wrapped up a couple times. So, it was brutal. So then COVID hit, man, and it was just out of nowhere, Like I was in class and got the email, like, prepare to take all your books home for spring break. We might not come back. And then the next morning we get out of workouts. I get to my room before I could even nap.
Yeah.
We got the text, like, we going home. So I honestly think I was gone on a flight at noon that day. I got the email at 10 a.m. and I was on a flight at noon. Yeah.
What was it like being able to transition, whether it was athletically, academically, or even just mentally, going from one culture to another culture? What was that kind of transition for you like?
It wasn't so hard on me because my brother DJ was out here with me.
Yeah.
So I didn't come out here alone. So I felt like I was just comfortable. I felt like I was at home right away.
There's no like little buffering period where you kind of felt like, not necessarily you're away from the team, but like you don't feel like you're a part of it. Like you're kind of just like figuring things out. You know what I mean?
Academically, yes. I still don't know how to work Blackboard to this day.
but from the team perspective, like you felt fit right in. You felt like you fit right in right away.
I fit right in, and that was just that, because everybody accepted me. Like I can't even think of nobody I even had just a bad run in with. Yeah. Everybody cool, man. That's why I like it out here. Everybody's just cool. So yeah.
That's one thing I enjoyed about the culture at UAlbany is of everyone, wherever you've came from, whatever you've done, wherever you've been to, it doesn't matter. We all at the end of the day come together and, we all accept whatever, whoever is there, No
matter what you do outside of the locker room, we accept you. Like, that's exactly what I like about Albany, for sure.
Exactly. And you can have different views on different things or anything like that. But at the end of the day, when we come to that locker room, we're all one and all together, and which is, really awesome, which I really enjoyed about my time there. And, I couldn't thank enough of, all the players who've helped me, coaching staff through there that, if just helped me guide the way and showing what kind of good leadership is and how to implement it in the real world. I think that was really cool. So CP, football doesn't last forever. Did you ended up graduating this spring, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. What did you end up getting your degree in?
Communications minor in psych.
Sweet. What have you thought about kind of, of course the goal is the NFL, being able to make that step. And that's everyone's dream, but is there any thought of, kind of after football, after the NFL or anything like that, pretty much as after football, your thoughts on, kind of what you want to do or any plans after that?
Yeah, I'm be a coach, going to coaching and try to be like a business owner. I was thinking maybe a retail shoe store, sell kicks for a living and coach. Just have a couple business options. Having this degree, it opened up so many doors. And me, I'm pretty wise, so I feel like that I'll be situated in what I want to do when I haven't put too much thought into it because plan A is plan A, so plan A.
Plan A, exactly. Until plan B hits you.
Yeah.
Understand that completely. That 100%. For all the viewers or even people back home that are listening, what would be, CP, talk about how wise you are. You've had a lot of experience being in college football for so long. What would be your advice to any high school kid, any kid that's looking up to you? What advice would you give them, to that maybe not something necessarily that you regret, but something that maybe some advice or a nidbit of something that they can do to kind of be like CP?
Grades. Grades is the important thing. Like, if your grades are high, anybody will take a look at you. Like, grades are the most important thing, and it'll help you in the long run. And one thing that I say that I regret not listening to the few people who did tell me was to work on my flexibility. You know what I'm saying? Flexibility go a long way. It helps prevent injury. Help you run faster, help you jump higher. So, flexibility, and then just stay true to the grind, stay true to the process because, everybody's path is not the same. You may get knocked down a few times. Just always get back up and stay true.
Well, that's awesome. That's great advice. I think for anybody out there, staying true to yourself, but also, set goals of what you want to accomplish and figure out how to accomplish those goals. CP is, been a great leader, but also he's very, he's has a goal, and he's willing to do just about anything it takes to get to that goal. Is very competitive. Love that about UCP, about your drive and your will to be able to do that. But before we wrap things up, CP, do you have anything to say to the viewers or any shout outs that you want to give?
Just shout out all of Oklahoma City, man. That's what I do it for, my family, man. I just want to thank God. And, man, all the viewers, man, make sure you subscribe. It's not even feel like you. Subscribe to my boy's channel, man. Please do so, man. And God bless all.
Well, thank you, CP. Thanks for coming on, guys. And, appreciate CP's time. We're going to be definitely following him this year, seeing if he can, touchdown pots, get a couple more on the board, man. I'd love to see CP in the end zone during the time this season. But thanks again, CP, for jumping on. And guys, stay tuned for next week's episode. Until then.